Welcome to Blended, Blessed, Always a Mess, episode number 10. I'm Eric.
And I'm Angie.
We are married with a correct ton of kids.
6 kids total.
I have 3.
And I have 3.
Our show is about our blended, blessed, and always a mess life. And our hope is that if you find yourself in the same situation we're in, that by sharing our story, maybe it'll give you some hope, some inspiration, laughs, and community, because we are not alone in this mess called life. It is a lot of good. It is a lot of ups and downs. And today we are super excited to talk about one of the big ups, the big highs, when it all came together and the crew says I do. Credit for the hashtag to my brother-in-law, Matt Howell.
Yeah, so we're super excited to talk about the big day. Last episode 9, we talked about the engagement and all the fun, crazy shenanigans around that.
Crazy Jeep story in Cozumel. If you haven't been to the website, blendedblessedalwaysamess.com, the video of the Jeep, photos of the Jeep. It was fun.
It was fun. So we get back from that. We tell the kids. Everybody's so excited. And then the planning needs to start, right? So this is September 2020.
Yeah.
And our first kind of step was let's pick a date, but we wanted kind of a cool date.
Yeah,
so we threw a bunch of ideas out, and Aric, I think you came up with the wedding date.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah,
April 3rd, 2021.
Yeah, so we selected the date, and then the next thing was I wanted to have a wedding planner. And so we kind of went back and forth a little bit on if we need a wedding planner. Aric seems to think that he's really good at planning stuff. He's DJ'd a ton of weddings. This is not hard to coordinate things. But, hey, we met in the middle on this one. We didn't do a full-on wedding planner. We did a wedding planner that came in the last 30 days and took the reins and then handled everything the day of.
I'm glad we did that. And it was really one of those things for me where, as we talked about our differences a few episodes ago, I was quickly able to learn that you would have been freaked out mess if you had to deal with all that, because you're so busy at work already. And then with all the kid stuff that we had going on, you would not have been able to enjoy the actual wedding.
Yeah,
and
that
so
was.
It seemed like, oh my gosh, all right, if I actually am making compromises, this is one I should give on, because this is going to make Angie's life a heck of a lot easier and not be all stressed.
Right. That was the easy button. I probably wasn't going to end up giving on it anyway, so I'm glad that
Glad she told me now.
I'm glad we met in the middle and did it just for the last 30 days. So it was great. Well, that's 6 months time frame to plan. So it actually wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad planning it. Ashley, our wedding planner, was amazing, and literally the day of, I worried about nothing. So I would recommend that, especially if you're planning a wedding. I would definitely invest in a wedding planner that you can put your phone away and just enjoy the last week of planning and then the day of. So definitely recommend that.
Super cool, though. I mean, as we started planning, the kids were so excited. That was like the first thing we realized as kids. We decided to get married because we thought it would be best for the kids. And as soon as we told them we were getting married, they were all super excited, all engaged in the wedding. And so we just knew right away we weren't going to do some old school wedding where you had a sister and I had a friend stand up with us. It was going to be our kids. So the 3 girls were going to stand up with you. The 3 boys were going to stand up with me. And they immediately thought that was the coolest thing. And that made them dive in even more, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, luckily it was a good matchup. Together we had 3 boys and 3 girls.
Here's
so it just worked out.
A man named Bremer.
But yeah, so in the planning, we had to be about the kids. That was the only way we were going to do the wedding, is to make it about the kids. So that meant they were part of the planning too. And so me and my best friend Amber and the 3 girls, we went dress shopping. The girls picked out their own dresses. They all had their own style that they liked. They picked out my dress for me. Super fun day of that. Even the food menu. Kids love tacos.
They wanted tacos. So we got some amazing tacos from our catering guy, Craig, who is fantastic. I mean, he makes everything fresh and all these different toppings. And that was fantastic. So the kids got tacos and everyone raved about our
food
meal.
was
They were like, this is
amazing.
one of the best catered wedding meals I've ever had, because the different taco stations were all different kinds of tacos and fresh.
It was gourmet tacos is what I would call it.
We had
even
one
his
station,
experience, even the experience of going to, that was super fun because you had no idea what he was going to do. But the taste testing to figure out kind of our menu, we just almost had like a private dinner with him, and he made. I mean, talk about Aric. I mean, it might have been one of their best days ever.
It was one of my favorite meals. At least 10, 12 different kinds of tacos, whether it was different kinds of fish, different kinds of steak, chicken. I mean, we did have one station. There was your traditional ground beef and cheese for like our parents, right? Who are not going to want to try all the cool stuff that he was putting together. But yeah, that was a cool experience. But the kids involved in the menu, they all wanted to be involved in the music. I was a little more like, that's kind of my department. I'm the resident DJ of the group. I did want to DJ our wedding, and Angie wouldn't let me.
Yeah, I mean, for real, the wedding's supposed to be about us. You're not supposed to work.
I don't know.
I
just wanted it to be good.
It was great.
It was great. We hired a guy named Justin, JT. He was fantastic. So yeah, all of that kind of just incorporated the kids as we went through the wedding planning. Because again, we've made this entire relationship is going to be about our family, not just me and you. And so the wedding had to be that way. I remember we took the boys to get fitted for their suits. They had never been fitted for suits like that. That was really cool. We did not let the boys pick out what they were wearing. We let Angie pick out what all of us were wearing.
Yeah, there's some things I still controlled. Even the haircuts, right?
Which was good because you and I prefer the same style of haircut. Yeah. The boys tend to be a little more wild and shaggy with their hair. So we had some nice trim cuts rolling in.
But yeah, even the planning part of it, just little details like I did not want a head table.
Yeah.
I did not want a head table. It wasn't about that. It was more around, just bringing our close family and friends together. So even the invite list, we kept it super small. I think we ended up having about 130, 40 people there.
Something like that.
But, my family is huge, so it's probably...
At least half was your immediate family, brothers, sisters, and their kids, for sure.
But yeah, just our seating and just keeping it very much about a family vibe, not about Angie and Aric getting married.
Yeah, instead of a head table, we had a big family round table for the 8 of us.
Yeah.
Just like we would, anytime.
We would at home.
Yeah. So it was really cool. So, I mean, those are just some of the things that we worked on throughout the day. But let's kind of talk about the day and what that was like. I mean, I both know for not just me and you, but I think for the kids, one of everybody's favorite things was waking up that morning.
Well, let's back up one day, the night before.
Oh, yes.
The night before. So again, talking about making it all about the kids, Lexi's birthday was the night before our wedding. And leading up to the wedding,
she was turning 18.
18. She was concerned that her birthday would be overlooked for, because of the weddings the next day, right? So, like I've shared before, I'm a big birthday person. I'm like, we've got to have a party for her. So the night before our wedding, we host family.
Big party. We did not have a rehearsal.
We had a big party. We did not do a rehearsal dinner. We didn't need one, right? We were just going to run through the wedding the day of to practice, and that was it. That's all you really needed. So we didn't do a rehearsal dinner, and also. When we picked the date, we also didn't realize it was Easter weekend.
Yeah.
So Easter's on Sunday. Friday night's Lexi's birthday. Saturday's the wedding. Sunday's Easter. So I'm like, we're having a birthday party. This is going to be about Lexi. We had the balloons and all of it.
It was huge. We had a huge party for her 18th birthday.
Yeah. So it's important, right? Every kid needs to feel like that they are special and can be celebrated, even if the wedding is the next day. So I'm so glad that we did that. And I think that meant a lot to her too.
Yeah, that turned out really
good. Because it is about
good.
the kids.
For sure. So she was happy at that point. She felt very loved. And then everybody wakes up the next morning of the wedding. And
we all stay. I mean, we're all together.
We're all together. Everyone stayed here at the house. And I don't remember which kid it was. Might have been Lexi.
I think it was Lexi.
If not, it was probably Hallie or Summer that gets up and they're like, we're getting married today.
Yeah, that is something, if we talk about like the top 10, which by the way, we're going to do like a top 10 favorite things about our wedding because it's our 10th episode. And that one, I would say, is one of my favorite things, but I did not expect the level of excitement. And we've kind of asked some of the kids, like, now that it's been a year, what was your favorite thing? Like, looking back, what was your favorite memory? And Chase said his is that everybody was so happy. And I mean, 1,000% agree with him. Like, that level of joy that morning, I mean, it was priceless. And I didn't expect it, right? Like, weddings are fun, but like the level of joy with these kids.
Another kid would get up and come out of the room that morning and would be like, we're getting married today. I mean, it was just one, and then it just kept building. That was the theme for the day.
None of them have ever said, even since the wedding, that mom, Angie and Aric got married. They say, that's our wedding day. Like, we got married. We all got married.
We celebrated our first anniversary together with the kids this year
and we got them gifts.
For
our anniversary.
Because of how happy they were that we got married that day. So it's always been we got married. And that's been really cool. One of our favorite things of that day. So that's kind of how the day started out. The other part, I guess I should mention, we got married 4/3/2/1, April 3rd in Missouri. We had an outdoor wedding planned. In Missouri, that date could be 30, 32 and snowing. Mm-hmm. It could be sunny and 80. It could be 45 and blustery cold. But I kept saying the whole time, I was like, I believe my dad's up in heaven. He was working hard to help us out. I said, it's going to be sunny and beautiful. It's going to be sunny and beautiful. It's going to be sunny and beautiful. It was windy that day.
It was super windy.
But it was sunny and 70.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
A beautiful day to be able to be outside and get married and do all the things that we wanted to do.
Yeah. You'll be able to tell in the video that's also on our website, the wedding video, how windy it was, because there's a lot of pictures where our hair's a little crazy.
Had to blow in that warm air.
That's right. I think number 2, so number 1 was Lexi's birthday. Number 2 favorite thing is just the level of excitement that we just did not expect. And I think the third thing for me was, so that morning the girls and I left and we went to this little place next to our wedding venue where we were getting ready. And my sister, who's, just an amazing artist, is the hairstylist. And so she did all of our hair and our makeup. I actually helped the girls and did some of their makeup. So it was just like this little family gathering. My mom was there, my sister, and then the girls. And we had so much fun. But one of my favorite moments where the girls were hanging out on the couch and the boys pulled up. So, okay, just imagine.
About 1 o'clock maybe?
Probably.
1 to 2.
Just imagine, like, these are step shits, like step siblings, right?
That's what, so Lexi and Hallie called them step shits. So like, all right, here come the step shits.
But, okay, so it's like, I think about my brothers and sisters, right? When the boys pulled up, those girls about lost their minds. Like, the boys got out of their car. They're looking out the window, watching, like, oh, my God, the boys are here. And they get out, and they're, like, almost in tears, like, oh, my God, they're so handsome. And just going on and on. And it's like, what is happening?
It was a magical day.
It was so magical. Levels. And I'm like, I don't know if I've ever looked at my brothers. Sorry, Craig, I know you listen. But, like, oh, my God, and tears rolling down that he looks so handsome.
Sorry, Jegga. Man.
But you know what I mean? It's just like, and they're stepbrothers and sisters.
Yeah. And it was
so that was just like stole my heart of just their reaction when they pulled up. So that's the number 3 highlight.
I hope you've got 10 down. I'm just like going through your list.
I do.
This is good.
Actually, I have 11.
For me, I would say number 4. We wrote letters to each other with little gifts beforehand. And our videographer did a cool job of capturing us reading those letters. First we read them to ourselves, and then he had us read them out loud so they could be captured on video. And we weren't together when that happened. We were off privately, and that was really special.
That was super special.
Wrote some beautiful words to each other about the commitment that we were making, not just to each other, but to the kids. And so if you've ever thought about something like that to your significant other before the big day, that was cool. Really enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, it's funny because, it was super sentimental, but then we both put funny stuff in the letter. Like you told me, like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I hope you show up or something like that. And I put, please don't be late. I I think the next thing for me was, we'd taken pictures, right? There's all this hype, and we had to do a quick little walkthrough of the ceremony. I knew it was going to be a little bit emotional, and I'm not a super emotional person.
She is not, kids.
She's my friends joke hard. Like they think that, my tear ducts maybe don't work. I don't know, but
it's not just that. You don't even sweat. You don't sweat. You don't cry. Like, I don't know what is
super
going on.
Dehydrated.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
Angie will work out for an hour and she's not sweating, and you're like, "What is happening here?"
I probably need to drink more water. So anyway, we're going to do this walkthrough. The kids lost it.
They started crying.
Like every one of them, crying of like joy, emotion, happiness, and I'm like, oh God. I mean, it caught me off guard because it's not just the girls. The boys also are upset, like crying tears coming out, not like a little one tear like I would. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, thank God we ran through this before the actual ceremony, right? So it was super sweet. We all hugged. I mean, it was just like a team. We all came together like, okay, whew, we got this. We got it out of our system, right? So it was Summer and Dane walked in together, Lexi and Chase, and then Carter and Hallie. That was the matchup. And Chase walked me down the aisle. That was also a decision I made. Typically your dad walks you down the aisle, but my dad had already given me away when I was, 19, when I got married the first time. And so with making this really about our family and Chase being my only son, I just thought, that is the only,
and
that's the only
man
option.
Of the house for man so many of the years, house. Well, before him and I.
It's so powerful for him and I to have that moment. And he walk his mom down the aisle and give me to
Novak, the guy that's now becoming his really good friend.
Was the devil in the beginning. Yeah. He's like, here you go. I'm all in. So it was super sweet.
That's a top 5 moment for me, for sure, too.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like not even a top 10, a top 5. Him giving you away to me was really special, for sure.
It was super special and emotional. So we did the practice, and they all were upset. We got out of our system.
Yeah.
Wrong.
No.
Wrong. Then when the real deal happens, it was a repeat of the practice.
We had so many people that were there that day that do listen to the podcast, and there were so many tears.
Like, oh my gosh, tears. Everybody was like, that was the absolute sweetest wedding. And it's funny because the girls they don't care. I mean, they love the wedding video, but they don't like it because they're all like, oh my God, we were ugly crying up there.
My boss, Carla, cries like you do, never. And she was like, I was crying at your wedding. It was so beautiful. Like, just people gosh. All the time.
And I think during the ceremony, so we wrote our own vows, and those were super, super special. I think that's also on my list. That is number 6. Number 5 was the real deal, the going through the actual ceremony, and then it was like tears the entire time. Then 2 hours later, they're still just emotional through the whole ceremony. But writing our vows to each other were definitely on the list. I think for me, we won't read through the vows, but like my favorite thing that I shared with Aric is just more about your willingness to show up for us. Like it takes a special man to show up for your kids and, to love kids as much as he does, love my kids as much as he does. The kids you didn't make. Like that just... It's amazing and beautiful to see. I think that's the most special thing about the whole wedding is how it all comes together. And here you have this man who has 3 kids of his own, but then loves your kids like his own. It's amazing.
It's one of the nicest things that you've ever written to me that day. It still continues to be. I probably should read that at least monthly. And for me, I mean, just somebody that took care of my kids like they were her own. Same thing. I mean, I felt the same way. It's why I truly believe it's why our partnership and our coming together was so something that God sent to us all, was because I love your kids the way you love mine. We treat every kid like they're our own kid. even though I didn't make yours, you didn't make mine. And it's just special. And so I thought the vows were incredibly important. Now, here's where things got a little wonky, is that we had decided to write vows that Angie and I would read to the kids. We did not do this in the rehearsal because we wanted it to be a surprise. So we finish our vows. Kids are kind of crying, but we feel like we're getting through it. And all of a sudden, Kathy, who was our officiant, was like, and now Aric and Angie have written vows to the kids. We step off the platform and look at our kids, and they just start to lose their minds. So a little bit that was on us. We surprised them, and it worked out really well. We are going to read you the vows that we made to the kids. So the vows that we said to the crew that day. And I'll let you start.
So we kicked it off with them and just said, as we make this commitment to each other, we're also making a commitment to you.
I promise to limit the use of my aggressive voice.
You see a theme here.
They laughed.
I promise to make sure we'll have all the right snacks in the house.
And they laughed more. Then they started to cry because we said, we promise to never quit on you or us.
And we promise to create a home for you, a place to feel unconditional love, safety, and encouragement.
We promise to support your hopes and dreams, but also be the rock when life throws you a curveball.
And we promise to be fair and honest and available to you whenever you need us.
We promise to love you.
Always.
And people were bawling everywhere. Our kids, people in the crowd.
I mean, those are our true commitments. Aric and I sat down, and it really didn't take us long to write these.
No.
But it was like, what do we promise to them?
Yeah.
And
so
then
special.
That's what came out.
So that happens. It's a favorite moment for us of the day. We get married, and then this next one is one of my favorite moments. You and I get introduced as husband and wife, and you start the procession. So we walk down the aisle. And we get up to the top of it was kind of on a hill. We get up to the top of the hill and we stop to see the kids walk back out. But they all come out and they're still semi-crying, semi-not. We end up in this massive, there's so many great pictures of it, massive family hug at the top of the hill that everyone could see. I mean, it was beautiful. I mean, people kept telling me afterward how beautiful it was to see. I mean, it was like, yes, we had all just gotten married down there, but now we were all just cementing it with this massive family group hug.
It still gives me goosebumps because we just happened. I mean, we stopped walking, when we were proceeding out. We got married outside, but we stopped because I'm like, ooh, I want to turn around and watch him because we didn't get to see him walk in, or I didn't.
You didn't.
I didn't get to see him walk in at the beginning of the ceremony. So I'm like, oh, I want to see him walk out. And then it was like, oh my gosh, they're still like upset. And it was Carter actually.
Big bro.
He came walking up to us and he was upset, and I gave him a hug, and then they all just come and we're all in this family hug.
He was upset. He was happy. He was just
right. Yeah, happy. None of them were upset. That's what makes it so amazing.
Yeah. So just beautiful, and then that was, from there, it was a fun night.
Well, the next thing was the kids actually, each one of them wrote their own speech, and we had no idea. We had no idea what they were going to say, and it was crazy beautiful.
Yeah.
Crazy beautiful. We have that on video. That's not on the website, but I need to upload that today because it was amazing what each one of them had to say. And they kind of helped each other out. I think some of them reviewed each other's just to kind of give them some feedback. But for each one of them to get up there and in front of the whole, family and friends there and say the things that they said, it was amazing.
And not that it's always about Chase, but I remember him saying to me, you may not have given, in his speech, you may not have given me life, but you've given me a better one.
Right.
And I mean,
Summer talked about the confidence that in sports and what you've helped her there.
Lexi talked about thank God for Angie.
And Hallie was like, I didn't know I needed another sister, and Lexi, and just it was so beautiful.
They were all good. Dane had beautiful things to say about you, that you were the nicest person that he'd ever met. And,
it's so okay. So that was number 8 on my list.
Carter, you were good too. We don't leave any kids out. Sorry. That was 8. Good. Yeah. Should I ask you what was 9?
Oh, you know
what was
number
9? What was your 9th favorite one?
Do a little rendition of it,
what
big
do you
boy.
Mean? If you recall our very first date, I got up on stage in a country bar and surprised Angie, just started singing, right? I didn't know the band. I just got up, started singing with the band to Angie. I had not got to do that since because COVID happened a few months after that, right? So we were tucked away at home. Bars were closed. Wasn't any place to go out, karaoke or anything like that. And so the week before the wedding, I'm like, you know what? I want to sing to my wife, but I'm not going to do it that day because it's about at the ceremony, it's about us. I want to do something that's just a little bit different. So that first night we were together, I sang 3 songs. I thought, I'm going to sing 3 songs. Now, I didn't sing the songs from that night because they didn't apply, but I did sing a song called Prayed for You by Matt Stell that came out right when we first started dating. And I thought that was pretty cool.
How's that song go?
It's hard to imagine bigger than I could fathom. Didn't know you from Adam, but I prayed for you. It's a little different than that, but did that. And then one of them girls, the song that came out a few months after we started, was just totally about you. Oh my God. One. You got your heart on lockdown. You got a wall I got to knock down. I kind of want to do a shot now. Come on now. And I did a Garth Brooks song that I'd never sang in public before, but I'd always heard this song when I was in high school and thought this was the kind of love that I would like to find someday. And it felt like this was finally the time that I could sing this. When the evening shadows and the stars appear, there is no one to dry your tears. I could hold you for 1,000,000 years. Make you feel my love. We probably have some video of all of that somewhere, too.
That is on the website.
That's already on the website. Yeah. Okay. So the cool thing about that was I find a guy named Keith 7 days before this. So like I leave my men's Bible group the Thursday before our wedding. Our wedding was the following Saturday, so 9 days away. And my pastor's like, are you going to sing at the wedding? I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not. And then I started thinking, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to sing at the wedding, but I would like to sing Serenade Angie a little bit in front of friends and family and embarrass her maybe a little bit.
That was a little bit, yeah. When you first got up there, and I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, in front of all.
But I embrace it, and it was so sweet.
I just started asking
and
around.
Hot.
And this guy was like, hey, I know this guy Keith, he could probably play for you. Or DJ, that's who got me in touch with him. He happened to live like 0.1 miles from our house. So it was meant to be, I snuck out like several times. I'm going to the gym, going to that. And I was really going to practice with this guy I met. And we practiced almost every day for 7 days. We even snuck out to the wedding venue that day while you girls were in the other building getting ready and snuck in the back door, set up, did a run through practice, tore it all back down.
The funniest thing is, remember the discussion earlier in the podcast in this episode about the wedding planner, and Aric wasn't sure? He actually needed the wedding planner more than I did on the day of because of this last minute planning.
Yeah, so that was fun.
They would be like, oh, Ashley, Aric needs you. And I'm like, Mother of God, what is he doing the day of the wedding? I'm like, he's needy.
My coworkers who have known me for a long time, I've worked with most of them for 13, 15 years. They joked afterwards. They were like, you're a good singer. You were extra on point tonight. I was like, well, kind of big day. Got married. Wanted to be really good for Angie and the kids. So
I mean, just imagine the vibe of just the ceremony and the kids and all the joy. And then the kids do these amazing speeches, and then Aric gets up there and sings 3 songs, and it was perfect. It was a perfect day.
So but we're not done. Dancing.
We're not done with our countdown.
Yeah, no. But that was 9. What do you got? You got one more?
Well, I actually have a couple more.
Okay.
Yeah, the dancing was fun. My mom loves to dance, and just seeing the kids all out there having a good time. And
I would say this, because we've both been married before, we truly did only invite like our closest friends and coworkers and family. And so it just felt very intimate, and the people that were there truly cared. And it was just a beautiful evening with friends and family that night.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I have 2 more.
All right.
So
bring it on.
I know number 10 is definitely one of yours because, most weddings, right? The bride and groom, they leave and go off and they're, starting their honeymoon, but not when you have a wedding about your kids.
No.
We all piled in the car when we were done, when the wedding was done. We didn't leave early. And went home, and guess what we did? We all sat around our kitchen table, the bar area, and we ate tacos.
It was like 1 a.m, and we had all these leftover different kinds of tacos.
And it was just us and the kids. And that was like one of our favorite memories And then I would say number 11, little extra bonus, is the next morning was Easter.
Yeah.
And we all got up together and we all went to church together that morning.
We were very teary-eyed in church the next morning.
Oh my gosh.
Easter Sunday and the power of our Lord being risen for your sins already. And now he's blessed. We both, made mistakes in life and you've gotten divorced, but now here we are. We've just made these fresh commitments to each other with these kids, and we're all together in church celebrating the Lord being risen. I felt overly blessed, more blessed than anyone should ever feel that morning. And so I know multiple times in that service, you and I were teary-eyed and just thankful to God and grateful for what we had been given. It was unbelievable.
So many gifts. I
would add on a second one then for me was it continued to be 72 degrees that next day. So here it is, Easter Sunday. We had just gotten a pool. And so I turned the heater on a couple of days before, and we spent Easter Sunday, the day after our wedding, as a family swimming in our brand new pool. I mean, it was a blessed weekend.
The other thing that we did from a wedding gifts perspective is we said no gifts. But if you do want to get us something for like a family gift. Like games or some, whatever. And
People were giving us pool wraps.
So we received some gifts that were games and just different things for the pool. And it was super cool.
It was amazing. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how the crew says I do, but I have a feeling you might even have another favorite that you're hiding out over there. Am I right or wrong? You get through all of us?
No, I think those are my top highlights. I know.
Could have talked about this episode for another 15, 20 minutes.
Oh my
We tried to condense, knowing that we've got videos on the website and things like that.
Yeah, our wedding video is also amazing, and it's out there as well on our website.
It's not long. You're not saying...
It's like 7 minutes.
Yeah. I know people are like, I'm not watching a 30-minute wedding video. No, it's like 7 minutes of the entire day's highlight.
I would say, the other thing for our 1-year anniversary, we mentioned this earlier, but I told Aric when we were talking about our anniversary, I'm like, we have to do something with the kids. Like, that's our anniversary, celebrating our family and our little team that we've built here. And so we went and took them out to brunch after church on our anniversary. And then we gave them
each
a
pair of tennis shoes.
We gave them each a little letter and basically said, we appreciate you walking in this journey with us. And then basically said, pick out a new pair of shoes as your anniversary, your first anniversary gift, the crewversary.
They thought that was pretty cool. So that's it. The Crew Says I Do is now turned into the Crewversary.
Yes.
On 4/3 of every year. I remember 4/3/2/1, so I know how many years we've been married. One of the reasons I picked a cool date.
That's right.
Makes it easy.
That's right.
So we're married now, and the kids are loving it. And from here on out, we'll get to talk about challenges that come with starting back to a post-COVID life where every kid now has an event, because we had not gone through that before. And that's really what our marriage, our life, our crew has become about, is how do we navigate all the daily now that COVID, maybe you're listening somewhere that COVID's not really over. You're in a state that's still a little bit closed down, somewhere like that. In Missouri, we've been open for a long time. So our kids have been active.
Yeah, and you'll find the theme too is how do you, we're still figuring out how do you make each kid feel special, heard, when we are all running in 500 different directions too, and having that focused time with them. So we'll definitely have more to share about that. We're also going to have guests on our podcast, counselors and other families that are
get the rest of the kids on
families.
Here.
Yes, we have a lineup of the kiddos to share their thoughts as well. So we have lots of content to share with you guys, and we appreciate you listening.
Like and share. We would appreciate it very much if you would on social media, and we will look forward to seeing you next week on Blended, Blessed, and Always a Mess. Have a great week.